Hi, everyone. It's Hunter Lott, your HR problem solver on demand. And this is Take 5 from our series, Just Because You Can Doesn't Mean You Should. As a leader, as a manager, you may have had a bad day to the point where you just said, I'm going to fire everyone. And you've then thought to yourself, I wonder if I could do that. And the answer for most of us is yes, you can. The law of the land is at will employment. Every state in the country is pure at will except Montana. There are some local jurisdictions that may limit this, but if you're non-union, non-public, a private company, you have the right to fire at will. It's one of the three methods I talk about in termination. Now, and I've gotten a lot of questions about this lately. At will versus right to work. At will means that the employee can quit anytime they want to, and we can fire them anytime we want to in the relationship. But right to work deals with unionized employers and the right for the employee to work without joining the union. And each state has set up their own guidelines there on right to work. At Will Doctrine basically says, Joe, Joanne, you're fired. Why? Guess. There are some exceptions, contractual relationships, if you've got like a union situation, a collective bargaining agreement, something in writing, an employment contract that says you're not an at-will, it's not an at-will relationship. Statutory, this won't allow you to illegally discriminate based on age or sex or race, but you may have seen my Take 5 on the discrimination numbers. It shouldn't be a driving force at your workforce. And then public policy, disobeying some kind of illegal order. Now, risk versus reward, yes, you can fire at will, they can sue at will. Well, what are they going to sue for? Well, they could sue for age or sex or race. But as I said, the vulnerability there, the risk versus reward is very pro-employer. These typically at-will fires are an adult conversation. Look, you're not happy, we're not happy, let's talk exit strategy. I don't use this very often, but I want the right to use it forever. An example of an at-will policy in a handbook, hey, we're an at-will employer, that this relationship can't be changed unless it's done in writing, signed by the CEO. What could jeopardize at will? A couple things. One, progressive discipline. I see in a handbook sometimes mandatory language. The first time you're in trouble, you will be given a verbal reprimand. Second time, you will be written up. Third time, you're fired. When the language turns mandatory and you commit to progressive discipline, you put the at-will relationship, you jeopardize it. It's at risk. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have progressive discipline. Hey, we have a progressive discipline policy, procedure that may involve verbal warning, written warning, suspension, fire. We reserve the right to ignore, accelerate any alt steps given the situation. The other thing that can put this in play, and you've heard me on this rant if you've watched me at all about introductory periods, probationary periods, in a non-union, non-public operation serve no useful business or legal purpose. If you're an at-will employer, you should be at-will from day one, and it shouldn't somehow stop or change at day 90. So I don't want to do anything to put that at-will relationship in play. But remember, most times we're going to use progressive discipline. It's the right thing to do. Just because you can fire at will doesn't mean you should. Thanks for watching this episode. For additional resources, check out hunterlot.com. There's available a termination video that talks about the methods. You can send hr@hunterlot.com, the handbook, and I review your policy, including your at-will. Happy to help out. Again, thanks for watching this episode. We'll see you next time on Take 5.